Cheers! Hello everyone, welcome back to the bookshelf, or welcome if you're new. Let's go over some annoying main character traits because I got one comment on YouTube and that means I'm legally obligated to do it. Hi, in case I haven't met you before, I'm Grace and welcome to my YouTube channel. I talk about books, writing, the publishing industry, I talk about characters, and all of our favorite books. So let's get into some main character traits that I find obnoxious and annoying because they are there. They are in books. And a lot of people, they don't talk about them. And I want to make you feel seen and heard. So let me know in the comments if you have read any of these and which books. So the first one is one that actually kept me from reading The Hunger Games back in the day, okay? Because like back in the day, I did not like The Hunger Games, and I know it was alarming to me as well. Hold on, let me fix this camera angle real quick. Okay, that's better. Is that better? Is it crooked? Okay, that's better. So, anyway, so when I first heard about The Hunger Games, a lot of people said that it was anti-feminist because Katniss is athletic and rather traumatized and emotionally distant. And a lot of people said that she was a pick-me girl and that if you read the books, it's not really good. And that kept me from reading it for about 2 years. And I thought that I was just so intellectually evolved for understanding this concept. And so one of the most annoying character traits is actually interpreted by the readers, is what I'm saying, is that a lot of these character traits we interpret based on other things that we read, so we bounce them off of each other. And if someone is athletic, we're like, well, are they supposed to be better than these other characters that we read about? So this is all very lighthearted, and this is all very much in the spirit of fun, and it's not meant to put down any archetypes or serious social movements. So one of the most obnoxious character types that I have ever encountered is the girl who has no life before her boyfriend comes along. And this, I hate to call out Twilight, but I'm going to. Twilight and a couple of other like popular teen romances that I can't really think of. And the same can also be said like the girl who has no life when her boyfriend disappears, which is more like what's it? You've got Sam, or you have Sam here. What the book about the dead guy, basically, which could also count for Twilight technically, because he's dead. But both Twilight and that book have in common that either when the boyfriend comes into the picture or when he leaves, there's just nothing. Let me make sure my mic is on. My mic on? Oh, it's on. Sometimes it shuts off and then the video has to be scrapped. Anyway, so the story goes is that when the boyfriend comes into the picture, she doesn't have a lot of friends. She doesn't have a lot going for her. You know, she's lonely and she sees all these happy people around her, and she's oftentimes, you know, a bit of a loner, and for some reason always extremely pale. And not to be confused with me, because this lighting is making me look like Casper the ghost. I am super pale. Anyway, and then the dude comes into the picture, and suddenly she has all of this fulfillment and emotional happiness and contentment. And on top of the fact that that is teaching girls that you basically have a life once a guy appears in your life, it also is just annoying because that's not how real life works. And I've always found that trope a bit obnoxious because it's unrealistic, because you don't know when you're going to get a boyfriend. You don't know that you have a set 300 pages to exist. So of course you're going to make the best of your life. You're going to have fun. And when you're 14, of course, things are a bit different. You know, in high school, of course, you want a boyfriend. But I find that trait a bit obnoxious, and also the inverse of when he leaves or they break up, such as in Twilight New Moon or that book about the dead guy that I mentioned. You've got Sam. I'll put the correct title here somewhere if I'm wrong. And then he leaves, and then oh no, her life is over. and she's like physically ill for months, and like she doesn't see anyone. Like, it's just very dramatic and very, I don't want to keep saying like it perpetuates harmful messages, but like I was a very impressionable young teenager when I would read these books and watch these movies. And when because I didn't have a boyfriend when I was like 13. So when I was 13 and I would see stuff like this, I would be like, oh, so that's what it's like when you break up. So you just basically go into like a psychological coma, and then you never see anyone for months, and then you're just like moping and sad and listening to like Taylor Swift. And although frankly, I listen to Taylor Swift in any mood, but I watched that and I thought that that was how life worked, and I internalized that and thought that that was the right way to interpret a breakup. And that's what I find a bit annoying, is that it's portrayed as like, oh, their love is just so destined to be, purely because of how dysfunctional, like her lack of ability to function after the breakup. And I just, The next trait that I find to be obnoxious and overused is also, this one is for the guy main characters, or like the dual POV guy's perspective. Um, it's when the guy swears to be like masculine or edgy, you know? Like, I noticed a little bit of that in the Lynn Painter books, which I do like those books. They're not bad books, but sometimes I'm like, okay, we get it. You say the S word and like the F word every so often. You're so edgy and cool and masculine. Like, it's kind of like, okay, we get it. Why don't just, like, it's sort of the equivalent of when guys say like they watch The Godfather, or they love like NASCAR, and I'm like, okay, well, all right then. That doesn't make you any cooler. And so I always found that a bit annoying, where it's like he's supposed to be like this, soft and understanding guy, but then it's like, no, he's edgy because he swears. And I'm like, okay, good for you then, Brian. And I also find it so annoying when the couple is just like, they don't have conversations. They have like, because I was thinking about it. Okay, here we go. So I watched recently the OC. I started watching the OC like a couple months ago at the beginning of summer. And also, is it weird that it's already like July and we're already like halfway through summer? It feels nuts to me. Anyway, so I started watching the OC, and I remember everyone telling me that Ryan and Marissa were their favorite couple. And I was like, oh, okay. They must be like super great together. Well, it turns out I was watching the episode, and they're supposed to be like, they have like this tension, and like there's like chemistry, and they're flirting and like having conversations about dating. And I'm like, have they actually had a conversation about like their interests or anything? And then I realized, not really, no. So that is the other trope that I find annoying about main characters, is when they don't actually have conversations about anything. Because that is something about the Lynn Painter books that I do enjoy, is that they're actually like right there. That is something that I do enjoy, because they have conversations because they're going about their daily lives. Like, Lynn Painter really understands that when you have a romance book, people are interacting about more than just the plot. They're interacting about like what they're gonna have for dinner, what they want to order, what movie they want to watch, and they're having like regular life conversations. And some writers write their main characters where they just have conversations about how hot everyone is. And I'm like, okay, that's not important. Because if I'm going to root for you as a couple, I need to understand that your chemistry goes beyond like physicality. I need to know that you have bonded over like career goals, or how you feel about certain expectations put on you, or mutual friends, or even like what kind of burger you enjoy, or like weird random stuff that you latch onto, because it's in the details that you latch onto things as a reader. And as a writer, I know that, because that's the feedback that I've gotten. Today's tea, by the way, for anyone who is interested, is a green tea, because I read that it's healthy, and that's good enough for me. And I leave the tea bag in because I'm not a horrible person. Anywho, moving right along. The next one that I find annoying is the super cool chill mom in books, and that basically comes down to like the mom who doesn't parent, where the kids are just so trustworthy that she doesn't have to parent, and she doesn't care how late they stay out or who they're with or where they go. And I'm like, okay, that is so not true. Everyone who has a mom knows that those moms are always like asking the detailed questions, like down to like, what streets did you cross? Where did you go? How late were you out? What was the minute that you left? Like, that never happens in real life. So whenever I read something like that, I'm like, yeah, okay, your only child who's a high schooler, you're just gonna let go gallivanting around and it doesn't matter. Okay, sure. And now we're going to talk about the big kahuna, the elephant in the room, the meme that never dies, which is the samurai turned pretty. And this is the fact, there is a deep lore between me and this show. And now we're going to get into it because this is a book series, so technically I have legal grounds to discuss it in this video. So, I remember when the book series came out, all of my friends were super into it, and I was not allowed to read it. I was not allowed to read it because my mom thought that it was too grown up for me, and she was probably right, looking back, and now that I've seen parts of the show. Then, I think was it 2021 or 2023 that the first season came out? I do not remember, but anyway, I think it must have been 2023. Was it not? I don't actually remember. Anyway, when the first season came out, I remember hearing about it because they used a Taylor Swift song. And I watched the trailer for the first season, but I also heard that there was like a lot of underage drinking and partying. So it wasn't really my vibe, in the first thing. But then I just did not stop hearing about it. And then I found out it's actually quite a fascinating show to follow. I still have not watched it to this day, but I am up to date on everything that happens, and I've seen all the videos on YouTube, and I've like watched reviews of it. So I can basically carry on a full-fledged conversation as if I've seen the show, but I haven't actually seen the show. It's great. And in case you're wondering whether I like Conrad or Jeremiah better, no one. I think that everyone's terrible and no one deserves to be with anyone. That's my honest opinion. And Belly, as a main character, I find her interesting mostly because, well, first of all, a lot of people tend to harp on, the main characters, and even in this video, I'm doing a bit of harping by basically saying, well, this isn't mature and this isn't healthy. And I want to emphasize, I understand these characters are teenagers, and they're supposed to reflect that not all teenagers make smart choices or have healthy attitudes. I get that. However, the people writing them are not teenagers. These are adults. And these kids that read the books are going to take these messages, and they're going, if you read something enough times and if you see it enough times, you start to internalize it as like a core message. And sometimes I feel like these adult authors do not quite understand the impact that they have on younger audiences. And that leads me to say, why couldn't Belly just pick one? Like, their mom was actually dying and she could not pick one dude. She had to have them both. And I don't know, I just find that a bit weird. So that's one thing that I find odd about The Summer I Turned Pretty. Also, I do love some things about the show, like the cinematography, the music choices. The show is obviously engaging. It's a huge hit. It's just not quite my vibe. I don't want to watch the whole show. I just want to know everything about it. Thank you so much for watching. That is the end of the video. We have now discussed the tropes that I find annoying with main characters, side characters, authors, writers, interpretation, all of it. So let me know which one you find most annoying, and make sure to follow me on social media. I am on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, Lemonade, all the apps. And I also recently made my Pinterest public, so if you want to see some cute videos and fashion photos, follow me on there as well. And thank you so much for watching. I had such a lovely time being critical, and make sure to subscribe as well so you don't miss my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!